Albert Breer in his snippets yesterday on SI wrote, I confirmed Mike Silver's report that the Browns got trade offers for Dillon Gabriel on the Saturday morning of draft weekend, which essentially confirms the interested teams were prepared to take him in the 4th round, despite perception that he was overdrafted in the 3rd round. Okay. How did the idea that he could go that high fly under the radar? ? I've heard Gabriel crushed his meetings with teams, and many saw his floor as a result as a long-term backup. Tone, the floor is yours.
I mean, he's really short, so I don't think any teams really thought that he was going to.
They said the floor was a long-term backup.
I guess I don't. What's the controversy here?
Wait a minute. Now, I know he was the first overall pick. Kyler Murray's real short, too. Yeah. I mean, can we be somewhat respectful of the guy's height at some point? I'm sick and tired of talking about the guy's height all the time. Yes, I know he's not tall.
Kyler Murray, I think, is way more talented than Dillon Gabriel.
Yes, he is.
You see this, but that's exactly what I think other NFL teams, have established, that it's really hard for Kyler Murray to make it through a full season. Once teams start throwing different looks at him, it's really hard for him. He has to find windows. The line has to be perfect. A lot has to be perfect, and Kyler Murray's got more talent than Dillon Gabriel.
But I think what they're saying, though,
so what's the ceiling for Dillon Gabriel? We're talking floors. What's the ceiling?
But I think they're saying with the floor. See, I think they're betting on the floor. That's why they're not. Like, I was surprised he was taken in the 3rd round as much as anybody. I think we all were. But they're saying that the floor was him being a long-term backup. Like, what's Kyler Murray's floor? Him leaving to play baseball? In that what his floor would be? Like, do you see, if Kyler Murray wasn't a starter in the NFL, do you see him being a long-term anything? As far as a quarterback?
Why couldn't he be a backup? Because
you just gave me all the reasons. He did the offense. The offense is scattershot. He needs a perfect offensive line. He needs a perfect wide receivers. Like you said, all these reasons that you would say.
Are you telling me the backup quarterback needs to be less talented because they'll accept their role?
No, because the backup quarterback definitely needs to know what the hell the offense is going to do. He definitely needs to have a firm knowledge of the game.
Yeah, but so that's, I guess we're kind of having differences just about what the roles are. Fine. Yeah, Dillon Gabriel, maybe he can coach someday, so that makes him a 12-year backup like Chad Henne.
I'm not defending the pick. Yeah, I want to point that out to you.
But I think you can get those guys anywhere. I don't think you have to prioritize them ahead of talented players if your team has a bunch of holes. I don't think I'm worried about my backup quarterback for 10 years. What are the odds that guy actually sticks and that you don't have other emergency situations and then guys play their way out of their roles?
I feel the same way in so many ways that you do. I know that we're kind of getting after each other here for a second, but in all honesty, like I get where they're coming with the floor, but I go, why would a team like the Browns then take a guy who's just based on his floor?
Yeah.
Like when I look at them and I go, gosh, they got so many other needs that they could help themselves fill with a 3rd round guy. Like you didn't need another guy in the secondary. This is before MJ Emerson. Right. I understand that. Right. You didn't need another guy in the secondary. You didn't need another wide receiver.
And they've got.
You didn't need. I know they have a bad record with drafting 3rd round wide receivers, but hell, you might as well keep taking whacks at it. Go ahead.
And not to mention, you have your aging vets that are not going to be a part of the future here.
Yeah.
So those will be holes.
So my issue was, all right, and it was Saturday morning. So apparently this is before they drafted Shedeur Sanders. But then you get him, and now I've seen Shedeur Sanders, and I consistently find myself as I'm driving down 480. See, this is where it all comes together. I'm not just wondering about old high school football memories. I'm going, what's his role here? What exactly do you do here? Because I see a guy who, I'm sorry, guys. Even if you're the biggest hater in the world, then you may have your head up your ass. Fine. But even if you were skeptical and you were like, hey, the Browns are the Browns, they took another guy, I'm sure it's not going to work. Like, even if you were that way, you cannot tell me you didn't see something in there on Friday that was going, okay, maybe there's something here. Maybe there's something here with this guy. Like, you can't tell me a little tinge of you didn't think, unless you just hate the Browns through and through and you just hate listening to us talk about the Browns, then I can't imagine there wasn't something that gave you a tinge of, okay, what if it did work? Because I don't see franchise, like there is a world where you could see, hey, it was supposed to be a 1st round talent, he ended up in the 5th round. Don't tell me there's not a world you could see where Shedeur Sanders could be a franchise quarterback. I don't know how great the chances are. I'll admit he was great on Friday, but we still don't know. So I don't know how great the chances are. I can't see a world where Dillon Gabriel is a franchise
hard.
quarterback.
It
so
is
now,
hard for me too.
after I've seen Shedeur Sanders, I can't be the only 216-474-0092. I can't be the only one going, buddy, I'm not trying to be mean-spirited to Dillon Gabriel. I think some people have. I'm leaving the height stuff out of it, all the other crap that we take cheap shots out of it. I just go, what's he here for? What is your role here?
Yeah, Kenny,
now?
He's the one that I feel like when we talk all the time about wasting time, are we wasting time with Joe Flacco or are we wasting time with Kenny Pickett? For me, and yes, I'll admit, other non-football stuff is seeping into this, meaning the excitement that somebody like Shedeur brings to the table, which I know is not supposed to be part of what coaches care about. I've saved the phone calls. I get it. But, let's be honest. I feel like the Browns are probably not going to be a great team this year. And you have this 1 year where 2 picks in the first round next year, kind of got to get to it. I feel like the guy we're wasting the most time with is Dillon Gabriel.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way.
At least I think that Joe Flacco can get him to a certain point before handing the torch, passing the baton on to somebody like Shedeur.
In a weird way, I feel the same way about Kenny Pickett. And the only thing I would give Dillon Gabriel, it's like, well, he's a rookie and we haven't seen him yet. But what I get out, and you may hate this. I know you hate this term, but I'm going to say it. Doesn't it feel more and more as the days go by like, hey, man, and gosh, you're going to hate me for saying this. I got to say it. Don't you feel like this is the smartest guys in the room type of pick? Because you say it's draft currency. You say quarterback's a currency. Andrew Bayer says that all the time. Were you planning on taking Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round to someday turn him into a 4th-round pick? Were you if that's his floor, were you taking him in the 3rd round to maybe get another third out of him?
That never made sense.
Because you have holes that you needed that if you did your scouting, maybe you could have found the guy. Don't think for a second, we won't be looking at this roster this year. They still probably won't be that great. But if you look at this roster this year, you go, boy, we could have got this guy or that guy in the 3rd round, and maybe that guy could have been a ball player for us and contributed to this football team. Because you can only play one quarterback. And where else am I going to put Dillon Gabriel out there on the field? So the more I saw Shedeur Sanders on Friday, it did creep into your head. There's excitement for Shedeur, but I'm going, what on earth is Dillon Gabriel doing here? What are you planning on turning him into? Because now, you're going to turn him around and trade him right now for a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round pick? Well, I don't know. Everybody keeps saying terrible things about him being out there in the field. So, gosh, if you put him out there in the field during the preseason, it's only going to expose him. So that drives down the trade value. Do you want him to turn into a career backup for somebody? Okay, fine. But do you really want to spend a 3rd round pick when you're at the bottom of your talent on a backup quarterback? Do you really want to do that? There's so many things that I go, I don't want to hammer you guys for it, but I need it to make sense. And so that's why I've arrived at this conclusion. I got to tell you guys, I hope Dillon Gabriel's healthy this weekend. I hope that he's able to play. I want to see him against Philadelphia. I got to see it. It needs to make sense. The football guys who are supposed to know more about football than any of us in this room combined, it's got to make sense because I feel that you're almost chasing value too strong where you're like, hey, man, we got to see the forest for the trees. We need a football player on this team right now. If you think it's a terrible draft, then you need to explain that it's a terrible draft. But we are in the mode of needing guys that we can play in other positions and develop in other positions and can contribute to this football team. And I don't see Dillon Gabriel other than a trade piece to go out and get a 5th, 6th, 7th round pick with. Why would I take a guy in the 3rd round to turn into a 5th, 6th, or 7th round pick?
I would never accuse you of, wishing ill on anybody
I don't wish
that the
ill on any
Browns
of them.
drafted, but it's just a tinge of this opinion because you kind of have the feeling that he might get exposed and we can kind of eliminate him from the process.
Well, no, but I don't. Because then I'm just going to be more mad that you wasted a 3rd round choice when I need all the talent I can get. I cannot be the only one living in this world. Shedeur, for as well as he did, I think the Jonathan Peterlins of the world, the guys who really, really, really love him, they're champions posing on Friday. And it's fun to see a good quarterback. But then it makes me wonder even more, what are you doing here? What is the other one doing here? And he's just stuck in a bad spot where it's like, man, how many other teams could have drafted this guy and he would have been in a better position? Because all I hear are negative things about him coming out of camp. Has anybody heard anything really that great? I think Lance Reisland has tried to say something pretty good about him here and there. So that's one. But even I think he has kind of tempered some of the conversation that he's had around Dillon Gabriel. So I'm really hoping he's going to be healthy and that he can play, because I don't want him to go out there and just fail, and so it proves a point. I want to see what they were thinking in the guy, because everything tells me, everybody tells us in camp how not good he is and how not ready he is, to the point of some are saying he's just not an NFL quarterback. Oh, you took him in the 3rd round. And he may be a great football coach someday. Well, I don't draft football coaches in the 3rd round.
No.
I need players to play for me. 216-474-0092. Is there like a Dillon Gabriel defender out there that can stick up for him?
Phone lines are open.
Go right on ahead, I beg you. That's a training camp report, by the way.
Training camp coverage powered by Genesee Brewing Company and Window Nation.
Wait for a training camp report to go, what exactly do you do here, Dillon? John Greco coming up at 8 o'clock. 216-474-0092. Like, I need to, because I it's an overused phrase, Tone. But it does. The more Shedeur Sanders looks good, the more I go, boy, you guys were just the smartest guys in the room. And maybe it will be that way. Maybe we will get our franchise quarterback bias falling backwards into it. But I go, that's still not going to make me happy or make me trust what you're going to put around this young man in the future if he does end up becoming a franchise quarterback, because what you did in the 3rd round. What would you do if the Browns started pinching pennies with all pros? What would you do?
Wow. Well, it would be a dramatic difference. We've seen the Browns, like when anybody's asked to get traded, what have the Browns done? They've just
balked at it.
Yeah.
Except for one guy. One guy they definitely traded after he asked for a trade. Didn't work out our way.
Who are you talking about?
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, but the Baker thing, I don't know. That doesn't.
You say what you want.
Yeah, that was such a different scenario all the way to get. Like, I know what you're getting at the Pittsburgh Steelers situation, right? Because they have another player who's doing this. The 49ers have
Baker's was a reactionary request.
Yeah, once they started looking at other options. I mean, the 49ers have been this amazingly stacked team, that their system got the most out of all these players. And then the minute any of them have a good year, they want a new contract, or they are demanding a trade if they don't get that, or a holdout or whatever.
I want to ask John Greco about that coming up at 8 o'clock as well, but that's coming up in about last night at 7:45. 216-474-0092. So I'm going through a little bit, not a crisis or anything. I just have a billion questions about this, and we got some people on the phone here. I need, what's Dillon Gabriel doing here? Because you saw Shedeur, and my depth chart, the unofficial, to me, the unofficial depth chart, if you're that mad about it right now, like, hey, you might be mad about it at the end of training camp and be justified. Because after what we saw to Shedeur Sanders, if they were to let him off this 53-man roster after what we saw on Friday, I think I'd lose my mind and go, fine, you guys are exactly who you are. Like, I will tell you this, and I know that this is going to be a deeper conversation. I kind of want to save it. They were asked yesterday afternoon on the show by a caller if they would give up Shedeur Sanders for a second-round pick right now. I'm not going to tell you my answer right now. I'm going to tell you about it later. But, like, already wild conversations are being thrown around right now. And I saw Shedeur Sanders on Friday. I go, the possibilities are endless with this young man. And we're just scratching the surface on that. So I'm not moving Joe Flacco, and Joe Flacco is the starter of the season for me. But damn, if you can work with Shedeur, maybe there is gold, and you could put him in sooner than later and see what the young man has. And it'd be great to be able to dig out of this hole that we're in with Shedeur Sanders and be able to use those 2 first-round picks in the future on something else. But, that's pie in the sky still right now. We're one preseason game in. That's a hope better than a expectation. But I watched Shedeur on Friday, and I think you got the same thing. I think you and I are in agreement, and I'm going, what on earth is Dillon Gabriel doing here? Why did you pick him in the 3rd round? Because according to this, what I'm reading from Albert, unless I'm not seeing it all clearly, okay, they did get trade offers for Dillon Gabriel. It makes you feel better maybe about Dillon Gabriel in the moment, but then you took Shedeur Sanders.
No, it really doesn't. It doesn't do that.
No, I think the Browns feel better about Dillon Gabriel in the moment. On Saturday morning, if you're getting trade calls over Dillon Gabriel, it's like, well, okay, we must have got ourselves a guy that a lot of people liked, and we decided that we were going to go up and take this guy. It would have made you feel any better if you were in the front office?
No, it doesn't make me feel better, because they need talent now. Like, they need to be replenishing. all the drain that they're going to have with all the guys that were supposed to be in that championship window, that Super Bowl
But they
window
don't.
from the
That's why I
last
said
6 years.
it does make us feel better. It makes the front office feel better. They're as value-driven as they can get. So they're looking at value some way, somehow. So they feel that I don't know what they feel like. If they could turn Dillon Gabriel into maybe a third next year and another fourth or whatever that could add more draft picks, add more swings to the plate, then I guess that's value. My issue is the exact same as yours going, you got a football team now. Like, guys, we got to get going here. Time's going away. We got 6 years into this thing. You've had 2 playoff appearances. Now everybody's under 500. Like, you guys got to get going. Fan base is agitated.
Yeah, and I'd like to see whoever is the quarterback next year. If it's Shador, if it's whoever they take in the first round next year. I'd like to see, it'd be nice if whoever they would have taken instead of Dillon Gabriel is in year 2 next year, and maybe they can hit the ground running a little bit.
So for as many people who are saying that they don't need to see Dillon Gabriel, I really, really want to see Dillon Gabriel, because now it needs to make sense. It needs to make sense, because if you're taking a guy and you're getting draft pick or you're getting draft calls and trade calls about trading for him, why would you take a guy in the 3rd round to try to turn around and make him a 4th round, 5th round, 6th, 7th round pick? That doesn't make sense when you need talent now. But I think a lot of fans would tell me, well, Ken, the Browns have done a lot of things that haven't made sense here over the last how many years? 216-474-0092. Matt on the road, you're first up on the Fan.
Good morning, Cleveland.
Oh, Matt's
How you
excited.
guys doing today?
We're doing all right. Matt, you go right on ahead, friend.
Well, everybody's sitting there complaining about Shador Sanders at the beginning of preseason about how he's so far behind. He can't lead a team. He's not a true football player. He comes out Friday and wows everybody. Now everybody's sitting there complaining about Dillon Gabriel. Why is he here in Cleveland? What's going on? We haven't let this kid take a snap yet as a Cleveland Brown. Yeah, I know we've seen him in practice and stuff like that, and maybe he's been doing good, maybe he hasn't been doing good, but wait until the lights get on top of him and everything else.
Well, I'm just going, well, wait a minute. If I'm going by reports that he's really, really bad in practice, do I have a lot of faith that the lights are going to come on and he's all of a sudden going to click? When a guy who was supposed to be that good at the whiteboard and that much of a savant at football, he's supposed to be a gamer?
Hey, you know what? Everybody was boo-hooing on Shador Sanders, and look what he did last Friday. That's all I got to say about them. But you guys,
a lot of people were boo-hooing on Shador. Go ahead, Matt.
I think they were boo-hooing before that first preseason game. They were, because everybody was saying that he was far behind when it came to the whiteboard and everything else, and they didn't really see him as a natural-born leader, and he went out Friday and did great. But anyways, I think we need to get rid of Kenny Pickett and just have Flacco and the 2 rookies. And then at the end of the year, let it decide whether it's Dillon Gabriel, it's going to be our future quarterback, or Shador Sanders. I think it's too early in the season to sit there and actually make a full-on foot on the ground. This is what we're doing. Shador Sanders is number 1.
I would love that to be the scenario. I would let me tell you that, Matt. I would love it to be the scenario, because Kenny Pickett's Kenny Pickett. He doesn't make much money, and he was a 5th-round pick. If it didn't work out, it didn't work out. That's no big deal to me, Matt. Thank you very much for the call. I don't want to see Dillon. This is why I need to see Dillon Gabriel, and I want to see him play well, because I swear to God, I don't want him to be kept on this roster just because he's a 3rd-round pick. Because if he goes out there and he sucks against Philadelphia, and then in the next preseason game, if he's able to play, Anthony, you know what everybody's going to say? He's only on this team because he's Andrew Berry's 3rd-round pick. I don't want that to be some sort of a confirmation with everybody. So I want, on record, no one will believe me, because the Dillon Gabriel people won't believe me. I want him to play and play well, so it makes sense to keep him on the roster. I would much rather have Joe Flacco, Shador, Dillon Gabriel than a 4-headed thing with Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett, to me, is the easiest one to get rid of. It was a 5th-round pick. You 5th-round picks all the time, fine. Shador, I don't know. You just saw a young guy do what he did. You can get tantalized by something like that. You ain't letting go of Shador. Everything that comes with him, you're not letting go of him. Joe, you want to start the season off the right way. Dillon Gabriel is a 3rd-round pick, but I don't want him to be kept just because he's the 3rd-round pick. I don't want that to happen.
No.
So I got to see him play, and I want to see him play well, because I think we're going to be sitting here at the beginning of the year, and we're probably not going to be a very good football team, and we're going to be going, what the hell do I have this guy on the 53-man roster for when he ain't good enough to play, and you're just basically telling me he's a young Austin Hedges? Or, he knows the game. He knows the game. He's really, really smart. He knows the game. All right. Well, you're the coaches. You're supposed to know the game. I got to get somebody to play.
Well, so he's got to get that opportunity this week, right?
I sure as hell hope so.
I mean, he was shown throwing the football yesterday. at practice, and now they're going to be in Philadelphia.
I really hope. I need it to be proven to me. What you were going to say? What else were we going to say before I take this call? All right, let me go to Nick and Maslin. Nick, you're next up on the fan. Hello.
Morning, guys.
Hi, Nick.
You know what? Like I told you before, huge college football fan. I watched Dillon Gabriel's whole career, and I understand this is the pros. But the kid at South Florida he played extremely well, caught his attention, went to Oklahoma, and I'm sure Owen remembers he led Texas in the comeback win of the Red River game he led Oklahoma against Texas to win that in a comeback.
No,
Then
I
he goes
stopped
to
watching
Oregon
them after
and
Baker Mayfield.
He actually did. He's
then
not being difficult.
Then he went to Oregon, and in 1 year learned that offense, was the number one offense or number one team most of the year, and everybody seems to forget how he decimated the Ohio State offense in the regular season game with his legs and with his arm.
So why does everybody who's a beat reporter that I trust to know football saying he's sucking up the room in practice? I mean, Nick, I can regurgitate his college stats all I want. There's a lot of guys who are really good in college that ended up sucking up the room in the NFL.
No, Ken, I agree. I'm not saying he's going to be all that. All I'm just saying is I just think the kid needs a fair shot. Is he ready? Maybe not. But I just think if he doesn't make it in Cleveland, I have no doubt in my mind. I think he's going to be a Colt McCoy. He's going to be a great backup in the league for a long time. But I think he just needs a good shot at it, and get his feet wet. But we'll see. I hope the kid makes it. I really do. I just like his career. I thought he was outstanding. So
congratulations on him being to him if he ends up being Nick. Thank you for the call. I'm not trying to be mean spirited here. Colt McCoy made a lot of money in the NFL being a backup quarterback, and is a smart quarterback, no doubt about it. But are we in a position to just draft Colt McCoy in the third round? We had so many guys that we need to fill holes with. Can I ask you guys that?
We're on the same page.
If the ceiling is Colt McCoy, I'm not having a conversation with Tone. I'm having a conversation with all you guys out there. The team was 3-14 last year.
All right, there are a bunch of people debating you right now.
You got a bunch of holes in the wall. To the phones, it seems that some of the Dillon Gabriel people want to, but I'm going, why are we drafting Colt McCoy? Why are we? You could pick Colt McCoy up on as a free agent to be a backup. Hell, Kenny Pickett, for all we know, could be the next Colt McCoy. You could have traded a fifth-round pick for your Colt McCoy and Kenny Pickett. I have all these guys. Again, you can only play one quarterback. I can play multiple linebackers and offensive linemen. I don't have a need for another offensive line in this last draft. All my guys are getting older. Wyatt Teller's in the last year of his career. Ethan Posick, who knows how much longer he's going to go, seems to be young and sturdy, but we'll get to that. I don't know when Zach Zinter's ever going to be ready to play. Now, I had high hopes for him. DeJuan Jones has some promise. That's one. Jack Conklin, does it not feel like you're on borrowed time with him? He's fantastic, but you never know when he's going to go down. That's just the offensive line as it is. So I could take Dillon Gabriel, and he's really, really smart. I'm taking him to be Colt McCoy. Felix in Cleveland, you're next up on the fan.
Buenos dias, Ken. How are you?
Same to you, Felix. Doing well. Go ahead.
Man, I watched that game, and Shedeur, I seen what I've seen in Colorado. Honestly, he's a great player. You can still see that he made some mistakes, but he's a great player. I still want to see Gabriel play. And you're making a lot of great points. Honestly, I don't feel like we need Pickett on the team. It would be great for a veteran quarterback like Flacco to take two rookies under their wing. And again, I need to see more out of Gabriel. I need to see something out of Gabriel to warrant why we need him here. Because if Shedeur continues to play like he's playing, I'm not ready to put him in as a quarterback one. But I could definitely sit him behind Flacco and, have him learn and, stay in that pocket a little bit more. He is mobile, but I don't want to put it all on his, I don't want to ruin him.
I agree.
That's the thing. I don't want to ruin him.
I agree. And as much as I was excited about Shedeur, and I was obviously over the moon to the point where the outsiders don't know the origins of Super Bowl, Super Browns that we heard at. By the way, Abe Gordon's birthday was yesterday. Tone Felix, thank you for the call. Which was a weird way to go 6 degrees to Super Bowl, Super Browns, where we heard it at his birthday going away party. And then it's turned into its own thing. Thanks to Jason and his friends.
Shedeur mobility, was it better than you thought it was?
It was about where I thought it would be. I saw him take off at Colorado.
Yeah, he got tracked down a bunch, too, at Colorado. But he was always running for his life.
I'm not asking him to be Lamar Jackson.
No, I know. I saw some people pointing out, they're like, oh, what happened to, people were acting like he was a truck out there. And I'm like, well, it will look different against the fastest guys, on Sundays during the regular season. Guys are faster, probably.
It's the NFL.
And, he got tracked down in Colorado a bunch too. People were comparing him to Mahomes mobility wise. I always thought Mahomes was pretty, not that he was fast, but he was special, elusive. Part of it is he had the release from all the different angles.
Well,
so you always had to be monitoring that he could throw the football at any second.
Well, the fourth down play that Shedeur had, right? Mahomes did that very early and then stopped doing that. He still does it every once in a while. He also throws the ball away pretty quick out of that. He doesn't do the extra turn and go an extra 5 yards back. He's always forward moving. And that's the difference between him and Shedeur right now. But Shedeur's played one preseason game. So